Greetings, comic book friends. It has been a hot minute since I did a video. I was out of town for a couple of weeks. I just got back last night, so I didn't have any content to put up. I haven't gotten my new comics for the last couple weeks. I'm going through serious withdrawal, but I hopefully will be able to pick those up tomorrow and start getting caught up a little bit. Now, usually when I go out of town on a road trip, which this was, I like to stop at places along the way and where I'm ultimately staying. I did not do that this time for a couple of reasons. One, the place where I stayed, I've been there before. It hasn't been that long since I've been there, and there are just other things I wanted to do other than running all around town, going to those shops. And I didn't stop any places along the way. Similar, the road trips are long, and I didn't. I wanted to get home. I just really wanted to get home, and also my dog was with me. Wendigo was with me, and it was really hot, so I couldn't leave her in the car for any amount of time to go on those stops. So I didn't do that this time, but the weekend that I got back, this previous weekend, there was a comic convention very close to town. Just I mean, so much it's so close it's practically in town. That was running from Friday through Sunday. I got back Saturday night, so I got back in time to hit Sunday. This was Ocon, which I think previously was called Okamicon, and I think it's run by the same person, but it's the first time it's been back since COVID. So I really wanted to go and try it out and see how it was. I wasn't, when I first got in there and after I hit the first booth, I wasn't super hopeful. So the first booth that I hit is a friend of mine. I've known him for a long time. He sets up at all these local shows, and Oscar, he's great. Ahead of time, I always let him know like this is kind of what I'm looking for, and he did good, and he digs some stuff out for me, which I always appreciate. Always treats me real well. But I was talking with him, and he's like, "Man, there's only like 4 comic dealers here. Like it's an arena. It's not like huge, but it's an arena. But it was mostly like local artists and people selling their crafts and authors selling their books, which is great. I love to see that stuff, but that was the majority of it. There were only, I think, 2 that were like 4 like real comic sellers. Yeah. One was my buddy Oscar. Another is one of the local shops, which I go to all the time. I've seen all their stuff. The other, I hadn't seen them before, but I didn't get the best vibe off of him, and he didn't really end up having anything I needed anyway. But and then there was another guy that actually I got a couple things from, and we had a real good talk. It was really cool. So in the end, I ended up okay. I was worried that I was only going to get this handful of stuff from Oscar, which wasn't much. It wasn't much. After at the end, I did go back to him and like, what else you got for me? Well, I want to find some more stuff, and I was able to find a couple more things, but I didn't get anything super huge. Nothing to knock off the list of the Daredevil run, unfortunately. But I'm pretty happy with the stuff that I got and the prices I got them for. So what I had asked, what I had told him I was looking for, other than of course Daredevil, and he's like, I know I don't have any of those that you need. But I told him that I'm putting together a run of the 90s Demon. I have 1 through 21 and a couple of odd issues. And he dug out all his demons, and he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them that I needed. So that's 8 off the list. And he had them as dollar books, which is great. That's what I was hoping to when I decided to put this run together. I was hoping to mostly get them as dollar books because even he's like, "What are you putting this run together for, man?" He's like, he was incredulous that I was doing this. I'm like, I read 1 through 21 and it's freaking fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I just love the character, and I don't have all of the first volume of the Demon, but I have the collected edition, and I read that, and I love it. I love it. So I picked that up from him, and then also, which I just kind of realized now, also sort of a Jack Kirby continuation, volume. I think this is volume 2 of Forever People, and I don't have all of the full run of Forever People, but I have the collected edition, and I've read it, and I loved it. So I thought I'd get this follow up as something to read because I need more things to read. So I got those from him. I was real happy with it, and like it's a 6-issue miniseries for like $1 each, a little over $1 each, and he gave me a good overall price on them. Let's see. Then next, so I stopped by and said hi to the guys from Krypton, the local shop, and then I got to the back. Then the other guy that again he seemed nice enough. He had good stuff. He didn't have anything that I need. I don't know. I just got kind of a weird vibe, but that's fine. And then a guy in the very, very back, like literally the last booth I stop at as I'm snaking my way through. He's got some stuff. His name is Dave, and I think his operation is just called Dave's Comics. But he was super nice. Was like, what are you looking for? They might be over here. Check over here. Stuff like that. And, I told him I was like, looking for these early Daredevils, and he's like, no, my son collects Daredevils, so whenever those come in, they kind of go to him. Like, that's fair. He didn't have any demons. He thought, if I have any, they're here. Didn't have any. And so then we just, as I'm kind of perusing his back wall and see if there's anything of interest that might be there for me, we're just kind of talking shop, talking a little bit about cleaning and pressing, and talking CBCS versus CGC and stuff like that. Great guy. He gave me his card and he said, I probably have a bunch of those demons. I just didn't bring him to the show, which why would you? Because who other than me is looking for those? So I can follow up with him, and he might have some more stuff for me. But as we're talking, I'm like, yeah, okay, let me see that. And there were some things that were interesting, but they weren't good enough grade. And then there was something that I saw that really piqued me, and it was, man. It is only the second PGX book I've ever bought. And the first one I bought, I don't even have anymore. I replaced it. But this is not going to remain a PGX book. So it is Infinity Gauntlet number 4, signed by Jim Starlin and George Perez. So I have a number 1 signed by Perez, which I love. But this cover is the most badass cover in the Infinity Gauntlet. This Come Get Me Thanos. It's a 9.4. It's a PGX 9.4, but I gave it a real good look over. And there's issues, but it's a really nice looking copy. I'll give it a clean in the press. Maybe it will get a legitimate 9.92, somewhere around there. It is definitely not a legitimate 9.4. It is a PGX 9.4, but we'll see. I'll have a better idea once I crack it open. But my hope is before I send it into CBCS to get it regraded and the signatures verified, is to get the third signature on here of what's his name? The inker, for whatever, it completely escapes me. But to have all 3 on, it's not the number 1, which is fine because this is a hang up on the wall book, right? I want it to look cool, and this is in my opinion, the coolest cover in the Infinity Gauntlet series, which is my favorite Marvel limited story. But yeah, to have it signed by both is fantastic. George Perez, rest in peace. You're not going to get his anymore. So if you want to get one that has all three signatures, you have to find one that already has all three signatures, or find one that has George Perez already and get the other two. This has half the extra work done for me. It already has Starlin's. I just need to get the third. And it's whether or not I was going to get the third, I'm going to crack it and press it and get it properly graded. So that's not that big of a deal to me. And I mean, the deal that I got on it, like, he understood. He's like, it's PGX. You know, I'm sure he didn't grade it. He probably bought it like this. So he was understanding. He's like, I'm going to buy it as if it were raw, right? Because it's getting cracked. The 9.4 from PGX means nothing. So yeah, the only thing that this gives it is it was most likely witness signatured, so I can probably count on the signatures being authentic. So that it had a little bit of weight to it, but I mean, it's not coming in super high grade, but it presents very, very well. And if I get it with all three signatures and then graded, it's perfect wall fodder. The other thing that he had for me, which I was kind of reluctant, this Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders Missing Spider-Man Incredible Hulk advertising supplement thing. So in my Spider-Man run, it is an all-inclusive Spider-Man run to get all Spider-Man titles, including these weird ads. The problem is I don't have all of those cataloged yet. There's quite a few of them, and there's some weird ones out there. AIM Toothpaste has one. I think Macy's might have one. I wasn't sure if I had this one or not. So I took the gamble. I wanted to add something else to this to help, like, work with me a little bit more. And I was trying to find more stuff. He just didn't have it for me. He had great stuff. It's just stuff that either I didn't need or whatever. So I got that. I haven't checked yet to see if I need it or not. We'll find out. But if I don't need it, if I already have it, I mean, I'll sell it or something, or maybe it's an upgrade. I don't know, but it didn't set me back a lot. It's these ones aren't super expensive, so I'm not too worried about that. So at that point, I kind of figured I was done. Made another little snake through. Then there was a booth on the side that I noticed that I hadn't seen. Because it was mostly like artists, and then just this booth. So I kind of missed it. And it looked like they had a lot of toys. It mostly looked like modern little things. But it was kind of one of those enclosed booths where you can step in and you can turn the corner and whatnot. It's like, well, let's see what they have, because there's always little toy things I'm looking for. You know, the Marvel heroes, and there's a couple of Transformers. There's a guy with some Transformers there, but he didn't have ones I was looking for. He almost had one I was looking for. I need a Gen 2 Sea Spray. He had a Gen 2 Sea Spray, but it didn't have the heat sticker on it. I was real bummed about that, because I've been looking for that thing forever. So I go into this little booth. It's mostly toys. I go in there. Like, there's some, like, vintage open turtles and stuff. It's like, oh, there's some stuff in here. And off to the side, they had maybe 4 or 5 boxes of comics. And then a small little stand with some other comics on there. It held maybe 10 books. It was like a small little stand. So I flipped through all the books in there. Yeah, there isn't anything that I need. And then on the stand, they also didn't really have anything that I needed. But I have a friend who I know he's been looking for this for a long time. Amazing Spider-Man 299. So first cameo of Venom with that last page splash page of just him all Venom. Looks great. So I know he was gonna look at every time I see him at a show. He's like, "Have you seen the 299? Have you seen like I saw one was overpriced. There's one like super beat up or whatever." He just hasn't had luck getting this. So I message him. I let him know. I was like, "Hey, they have this 299 here. This is what it's priced at." I let him know like it could use it's a good looking copy. It can improve with a clean and a press. It's here. Are you interested? And as I'm kind of waiting for his reply, right next to this is Amazing Spider-Man number 316, which I already have, but it's not in the best shape. It's a book that I wasn't like I need to upgrade this. It was a book that was like, if I get a good chance, I would like to upgrade it, because I got my original copy of 316 when I first really started going for the whole run, and at that time, luckily, one of the local shops, same shop that I saw there, Krypton, had a 50% off back issue sale. And that was kind of the clinchers, like, I guess I'm doing this. So I went through all their Amazing Spider-Man they had in the front. I went through all the Amazing Spider-Man they had in the back, and I picked out every single issue I did not have. Without a lot of care about condition. There was some care, like there was like no way. This is beat to. There's no way. I don't want this one. But they had I didn't have this at the time, and the one they had, it was probably, I can't remember. It might be like a 7.0 or something like that. So it's like, I'm getting it for half off. I don't have it. It's not super beat to crap. It's fine. And it's been fine since then. But then I saw this, and I'm like, if my buddy needs this, then maybe I can get both of them and, maybe try to work something out. I was able to work more out on this, because this he had priced high. Like, his original sticker price on it was high. This one was priced pretty well. And even my buddy, when he got back to me, he's like, yeah, that's a pretty good price for it. This one was priced well. This one was overpriced. So that's what I told him on this one. I was like, you have this price for whatever. Like, here's a sold auction for a graded one in at least as good condition as this one, selling for what you have this price for raw. And the one that was graded was probably a little bit better than this one. So he's like, all right. I wasn't trying to rip him off or anything. I was like, it's priced high. You have it priced too high, which happens, right? The way the market goes, like you can't keep up with all that all the time. So I do appreciate when people listen. It's like, I want to give you a good price for it, so you're getting, so I'm getting a good deal, you're getting a good deal. But if you're coming and swinging with, it's priced almost twice what it should be priced at, then we're gonna have a problem. So let's work it out. And I think because I was buying that one, he was okay with coming in on that one. So, and then my friend eventually got back to me. He's like, look, man, I appreciate it. Don't have the funds for it right now. I guess I'm kind of telling this story out of order. Not that anyone actually cares about the story, but, and I'm like, yep, I understand. I get it. He has a job that's kind of seasonal, and it's off season, so I get it. And so he got it back to me before I kind of really started considering this one. Um, and I'm like, you know what? He's been looking for this book for a while. Here's a good copy at a good price. He can't afford it now. He can't do it now. If he waits, he might not find one for as good, or maybe it goes up in value. Who knows? I'll buy it and then let him know that I got it. And it's like, look, it's here. It's locked in. When you have the funds, let me know. And then the book is yours. So once I kind of decided on doing that, and it's like, and then, well, let me kind of work with this one as well. So that was that story. After that, I was feeling pretty good at that point. I went back to my buddy Oscar, and we're sitting there just kind of talking. Like I'm ready to go, but I want to talk to my friend a little bit. And while I'm doing that, like, man, I want to get something else for him. Like, hey, can I see this? Can I see this? And it's like, like it's just, look, his prices are great, and he always does me real well. Just the stuff that he had that I had interested in wasn't the grade I was interested in. It's up there for somebody, and they're going to get a great deal for it when they find it, but it wasn't for me. But I did find this, which I've been having my eye out for a little while. So, New Teen Titans Annual 2. It's the first appearance of the Vigilante, and he actually had two of them. And he had the direct edition one, and he had a newsstand one. And the newsstand one, at a glance, didn't look as good. It was priced higher because it's newsstand, and I'm like, I don't care about newsstand. And he's like, I know you don't care about newsstand, but I have to see both of them. So like this one's out. This one's out. So then I go to open this one up, and I feel like the price on this is pretty good. It's pretty good. I open it up, I take a little back, and I look at the front, I look at the whites, and like there's like it needs some work. I expected to see something similar on the back. I looked at the back, like, this thing's gross. Like this is like, I don't know how well that's showing up because of the focus, but it needs some work, but it is the kind of work that I'm able to do. So, it needs a press. I can see some creases in there. Some may come out, some may not, but the back, man, like especially right up there, up at that top staple, like even though it's not in focus, you can kind of see it. God, it wants to get there so bad, but it needs work. So I'm like, yeah, I guess, it's one of the reasons why I started doing what I did, the cleaning and pressing, is so I can get books cheaper because they are in this sort of condition, but I can make them better, and take a book that's worth less and make it a book that's more in the grade that I'm looking for. Like, you know what? This is exactly why I started doing this. Let's do it. What did I say? I'll take your dirty ass copy of Annual Teen Titans number 2. So that goes in the box of my personal stuff that I want to clean and press, which never seems to get smaller because I always prioritize customer stuff first. So someday. And then I'm flipping more through stuff. He had this box of sets, which I got the Forever People from, and he had a complete set of Origin, which I've never read. The time it came out, I was like, I don't like Wolverine or whatever, and I've sotted up a little bit on Wolverine, so I'd never read it. It looks like it's in decent shape. And then this part, I'm like, just probably just read it on the app at some point. But I am who I am. I prefer the physical copy, and you know, he cut me a good deal, so it all turned out okay. Let's see. Oh, and I mentioned there's a lot of crap people in there. There was someone that did a lot of like perler stuff, and they had this perler button of Gengar, and I have a good friend who has a daughter, and her daughter's favorite Pokemon is Gengar, so I picked this up for my friend's daughter, which I think she'll enjoy. Apparently, the eyes glow in the dark, which is super cool. I was hoping they had some like, do you have a Chocobo? And like we had Chocobos, but they all sold. But it's just what you get for going on the last day of a con. But I think that's it. I bought a box. My buddy had one of those BCW boxes for graded books, which is what I use to store some of my graded books. The ones that don't go in the safe go in those. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to need another one of those eventually. I'll take it off your hands. So I bought that from him. Just, I guess, so he didn't have to haul it around anymore, and I'll have it when I need it. Because it's bound to happen at some point. Because, once again, I am who I am. But, yeah, that's it. I mean, I went in, originally I went in with hopes. Those hopes were dashed pretty immediately. But by the end, I think I did okay. Nothing huge. Some stuff needs some work. Some stuff I need to hold on and for a friend. This is a nice upgrade. I'll probably send this in to get graded. It's not super high mint. I'll probably get in the low 9s. But this is another, just having this slab to put on the wall. That's a good wall book, a wall display book. So and I can sell my current copy of it to recoup some of the cost on it. So I'm not too worried about it. But I did want a decent copy of that book. So that's it. Let me know your thoughts. Are you getting to any cons these days? I know San Diego was happening last week, and I don't know, man. Those big cons, I haven't been to a big con in a long time. Like the last really big con I went to was Wizard World Chicago, when Wizard World was a thing. And right now the biggest one I go to is Planet Con in Kansas City, and I made a video of my last experience with that. Other than the Kevin Eastman meeting, it was pretty much a bust. So I don't know about those anymore. It's these small cons, these small local Midwest cons in particular, where people aren't demanding East and West Coast prices, where you can still get some good stuff at reasonable prices. So I think I'm in a good position where I am. There's the QuadCon, which is coming up in beginning of September, which I'll actually be opening a booth at, and other little things that come around here every once in a while. So that's about, I think, all I'm able to mentally support for myself at this time. But they're fun. So that's it. I've been going on for long enough. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're doing at cons these days. Like, comment, subscribe, and of course, don't forget to make yours Titan. This video is brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.